Maybe I will put it somewhere. Okay. So we're talking about initiate, plan, execute, monitor and control, and close phase. And
Yeah, those are
what
the
we're saying
5 process
about these are
control
the number
process
of
groups.
questions. Yeah, process groups, 5 process groups, and 49 processes. Then these are the number of questions out of 200 that you will be getting. And if you find the percentage 26 out of 200 means 13 out of 100. 48 out of 200 means 24
Okay.
out of 100. 62 out of 200 means 31 out of 100. And in the previous version, PMBOK 5, it was only 30. So basically, they increased 2 questions over here as compared to PMBOK 5 and PMBOK
Okay, so
6.
the focus is still on execution.
Yeah. So they increase the
Okay.
focus on execution, and they reduce the focus on closure. So previously there used to be 16 questions coming in, so they reduced it by 2. So now 14 questions are coming from a closer part.
Now, a question on that. Do you think the reason why they did that is because most projects fail? Because the trend that I've noticed is that projects start and the majority of the problems and the hassle and the work comes with the execution. And then a lot of the times the project either fails or it doesn't continue or the focus changes and the closure rate is not that big. Is that one reason or is that just an observation?
No, that's the correct observation. If you, in fact, you are giving, because these are the feedbacks that were received from different project managers. So what this PMI as an organization does is it gathers most of the members and take the feedback, what went wrong in their projects, what went correctly in their projects, and on that basis they try to improve it. So that's the correct observation.
Okay. Now, tell me, you said that there were 5 questions added into the monitor and control section. Is that correct?
No, this is PMBOK 5 version. This is the PMBOK
Okay.
5
All
version.
right. The 5th edition. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay. All right. Perfect.
so basically they reduce 2 questions from here and put 2 questions over there. That's it.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Okay, so if you decide to skip the closure part for the exam preparation, it's up to you. But
No,
in fact, the
that's just
closure is
stupid.
very
You don't
easy.
throw away points. No, but you. How did the guy say? You always pick the low hanging fruit. So easy questions, you get them.
Yeah.
You take them.
Yes. So we'll start with the chapter 1, that is introduction. And before starting this,
Okay.
I would like to know which domain actually you're working. You're into IT, you're into construction, or what? Into oil?
Into both IT and construction. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself.
Okay.
I started initially with telecoms and database management.
Okay.
And then in 2004, when I went over into database management full time, then I did my first fundamentals of PMI. That was on the 2nd edition.
Okay.
And I was registered with them and I passed the exam. I went to college for about 6 months and after a year I wrote so I've got the diploma for that one.
Okay.
And then afterwards I went into web development, design and development, where I started as the project manager and then took over the department. Then from there, I went on to General Motors, but that was more just a supervisory role, not very many project-oriented role. But then when I relocated back to South Africa in 2013, my family has a dust extraction and air pollution control company. So we install big machines,
Okay.
which is in the realm of construction. So there for 5 years, I had a lot of construction projects in which I had to manage these projects and implement these projects. So now my question to you is, based on this experience, would they, up until how long would they allow you to add your experience? So if I've got 10, 15, 20 years of experience since my last PMI certification, do they take that into consideration?
For you asking for the from the perspective of registering for the exam, or what perspective?
Yes, yes, from that perspective.
From that perspective, you just need to show whatever years of experience you have. That's it.
Okay.
So I think so. You easily overqualify for the number of hours.
Well, I hope so,
Yeah.
because I hate to be doing all this and they're turning you down saying that, sorry, you don't have enough hours type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're asking me in terms of where you're going to focusing on the introduction, my recent project now with Dubai Customs is purely IT. So
Okay.
there, and I wish I had known this earlier, but in that project, Scrum would have been ideal to follow the
Okay.
methodology.
Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. In fact, if you're working in an IT industry or non-traditional kind of industry, wherein the requirement is changing continuously and new things are coming up, so in those kind of methodologies, Scrum is always the preferred thing. But let's say if you're going into a construction or the dust and the project that you are speaking about in South Africa,
That's
so
waterfall.
yeah, that will be better for this PMP or a traditional project management kind of style.
Yes,
So what I will do is I will roughly take the example around constructions and IT, since I myself come from IT background. So
perfect.
let's start with the introduction. So what is a project? What is a PM? What is a project manager? What is a PMO? Management organization. So we'll see all
Yeah,
these things. Then we'll see what is a portfolio, what is a program, what is a project, what is a project manager, what is a operation manager, what is a organization strategy. Then we'll see what is a business value and what is the role of project manager. So this is roughly
okay.
what we'll be seeing today. So this is just a basic introduction about the first chapter, and moreover, just to give a more overview of what is a project. So just starting quickly from the definition what PMP gives about project. So what the project is defined as a temporary endeavor. So what do I mean by temporary? Whenever we use a term called as a temporary, it should have a definite start time and the end time. So it can be a start and end time, maybe 1 day, 2 day, or 1 year, or 2 year, or 10 years, or 20 years, whatever. But it should be a
Yeah,
temporary. It should get over after 20 years, means it should get after 20 years. You should have a definite start time and end time. It is not that end time should be nearby. It can be anything. It can be 20 years. That's totally fine, but you should
sure.
have a definite start time and end time. So project is defined as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result. So maybe if you're into a software industry, you're creating a unique product, you're creating a unique website, and there is no such unique website available. Or even if you're in a construction, you're building a home. Again, a home is a unique product, because let's say you're constructing a similar home again and again, same home again and again, same G plus one a story building again and again, but the land is different where
Yeah,
you are constructing. The sand is different. The structure is different.
yeah,
Something will be a hilly region, something will be a marshy region, or something will be different. Some geography will be different. So it's again creating a unique product. Even if you are constructing a home that may look like a similar home, but still it's a unique because the land is different. Or you're creating a website, there are 100 other websites, but your website is a unique website. So you're creating a
yeah,
unique product. Your server is unique where you're hosting a website, or maybe you're creating a unique service. So once you're creating the service, let's say you're establishing a food delivery app. So you're establishing a service, you're creating a new service wherein uh, a guy or a pickup boy will pick up the things from a restaurant and deliver to a customer. So once you're creating that service, it's again a project. It is a start time. I want to create this service within 3 years and make it operational. And once it is completed, once it is operational, and after that it will become an operation, because it will be the same thing that will be happening day in and day out daily. So project is from the time when it started and when the service was ready. And to carry on the service later on, It is a operation. So we need to understand between a project and operation. Project is when you're creating a unique product. It may be a home, it may be a website, service can be a delivery service or some other service, pest control service, or your dust service, a dust removal service there, wherein for the first time you are creating a service. Once the service is live, it's an operation and you're producing some particular result. So this is a basic definition of a project. Temporary endeavor, wherein you have a start time and end time, it is undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. Okay. So what are the attributes of project? So these are the attributes of project. It should be done for a unique purpose. The purpose should be unique. It should not be done before. So it's a unique purpose. It is temporary, meaning it is having a definite start time. You know the end time when it is going to end. It should be progressively elaborated. What is the progress? So you should be able to elaborate it. It should require some resources, be it a human resource or it can be other resources like computers, hardwares, and so on, machinery, and so on. So it should require
Yeah.
resources. Then it should be initiated by a customer or a sponsor. Someone should be requesting for this or someone should be sponsoring this. And project is always uncertain. The certainty of a project is not known. You're constructing a home, it may you may not be able to construct it. So it's uncertainty. So it should have this particular attribute, that is uncertainty.
Okay.
Then going ahead, example of a project. The example of a project can be developing a new product. We are developing some particular new product. We are making a new website, or it can be a restructuring of an organization. Like in the HR has decided that previously there was a one director, then there were two people to help directors, then there was a V president, four presidents, then there was five AVP, there were
Yeah.
resources below them and so on, and they decided to restructure the organization. These are like no use or not giving that much output, so they want only one director, only one president, and maybe few AVPs and something. So what they are doing over here is just eliminating so much cost. So restructuring of an organization, it is having a start time and end time, it is getting a unique result, it is temporary. So it can be also an example of a project wherein you are restructuring your organization. Another example can be constructing a new house or constructing a new research center is another example of a project.
Sure.
So if you have any doubts, you can stop me in middle. Then
No, no, that's fine.
okay. So we'll go ahead to what is a result of a project. Maybe this slide is very old, pretty old. So product is maybe it should be iPhone X or XR, whatever is the latest one. So you're creating a new product, you want to come go live in market with iPhone 8 or whatever X or XR and so on. And maybe you are establishing a service, setting up of call center or setting up of a delivery module for Food Panda or any other kind of delivery services, Zomato or something else. Or maybe you're creating a result, so maybe you're creating a research document, which is again a project. Or maybe you're trying to do some improvement here in your product, that is Samsung Galaxy Note 5. It used to explode. There was some problem with the battery. So you want to do some improvement in that thing. So Note 5 should not explode. So it's again a
It's
project.
a new project.
Yeah. So again, if you want to do some kind of process improvement, some process is not working fine, so you want to improve it, so you are having a definite time. Within this time frame I want to do this process improvement, and I am achieving this particular result, which is a unique thing. That, let's say, a home delivery boy, what the home delivery guys used to do in Singapore is, let's say they used to get a order from a restaurant and they need to deliver within 40 minutes and the house is just beside, so they already have a house address. So they just say, oh, I still have 40 minutes to deliver. Why not I just sit with my friends and don't deliver now? So what they were doing is, though I have placed the order from the restaurant which is just nearby, just besides me, and restaurant has cooked the food and kept, but this delivery guy is not even going to restaurant to pick up the food, and the food is getting cold, and he is getting the money because this restaurant delivery guys or this food panda and zomato delivery guys get their hourly wages. So they are just sitting and taking their wages, and just when the 10 minutes is left, just he will pick up from the downstairs and deliver to me on the upstairs. So this was a big loss, and the companies like Deliveroo learned from it in Singapore, and what they started doing now is, till the time those delivery guys don't pick the parcel from the restaurant, it will not show them the address. So this is what a kind of process improvement was done by a Deliveroo guys, wherein the address of the customer won't be shown till the time this delivery guy picks up from the restaurant. So this was, uh, by doing this they will be saving a lot of money in future. So this was one of the example of process improvement.
Okay.
Okay, so how does a project end? So it can be a terminated. Finally, it was decided, oh, it's not a feasible to do this project. Maybe some money issues or whatever. It was decided to make something, but it is not possible to make. It is not possible to construct a 15-story building besides an airport, because there is a limitation. You can only construct maximum 5-story building besides an airport. So it was a terminated because it's not feasible, or maybe it stopped because it is already completed, like construction of a house, and house is already completed, house is already constructed. Dengue or polio, now there is no more dengue in the Singapore, so I don't need to work on dengue. Or there is no more polio, so I don't need that project anymore, so I am just terminating that project because there is no more polio. Or I was creating a bridge, and this bridge is completed, so I no more need, the bridge is already completed and project is no more. Project is completed. So this is how the project ends. Then authorized, market demand.
What do you mean by authorized?
Yeah. How is the project authorized? Who is going to
Okay,
authorize the
so
project? How the project will initiate? Who is going to authorize the project? So the project can be authorized by a market demand. Let's say market is demanding for some change in, let's say you are having some machinery that controls the dust emission or something like that, and now the market is demanding for the higher standards, so you have to go ahead with a new project to improve that machinery. Or maybe the market demands for a better way for ordering the food, so in that case the market
okay,
demand will be the case that is authorizing. It can be a strategy, a part of strategy, like I'm working into big data industry now. So for most of the companies, it's a strategical demand to use the data in such a way that it gives more of information. It is easier to extract the information from the data. So like I'm currently working into more into supply chain. So how the in a supply chain, when the goods are delivered from one part of country to another part of globe, like the goods are flowing from China to US to Singapore and so on, it's necessary to derive the information where the goods are lying and how much time it's lying, how can we speed up the process, which is the milestone where it is getting stuck and so on. So this is part of strategy. Most of the big data projects are coming up, so it's a strategy. It can be a reactive to a competitor. It can be a social, a CSR, corporate social responsibility to promote cleanliness. It can be environment, to use more clean fuel, like electricity cars are coming in, so it can be because of environment. It can be a customer demand, customer comes and says that, oh, I need something, you do for me. It can be because of technology advancement. Let's say the creation of website, previously HTML was used, now there are thousand other ways, so technology advance. It can be a legal requirement you need to comply with. You need to have multiple reports that you need to build and so on. So it can be on the basis of legal requirement as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so what is exactly the project management? So project management definition as per the PMBOK 6. So PMBOK 6 is the main reference guide. So it is like a Bible that you need to refer for PMP. So PMBOK 6 is the first book that you should be reading it. The second book, Rita Mulchi, she is a very good author, or she was a very good author. She is no more. So, but still the author name is same. So now also the publication makes some advancements in the book as the new things comes. So Rita Mulchi is a good author that you can refer to. So this your first and the last point of contact that you always should refer. Rita Mulchi is for detailed understanding. You want to understand with example, good examples. So this is the very good book, Rita Mulchi. Then there is a head first publication for PMP. So head first publication is having a books on almost all the topics, and where head first goes ahead is let's let's learn about any technology, let's learn about any IT things, or let's learn about PMP. They are having more of diagrammatic approach. So it's like for guys like you and me who hate reading, but head first is a kind of book which you will find it very interesting because it has lot of pictorial representation which gives you enough information to understand. So
So will this count towards your PDUs?
no, this is not going
Not.
to
Okay.
affect any PDUs. No. Okay, but
Okay.
it's easier for you to understand. Yeah. Okay.
So it's just help guides, additional guides.
Yeah, additional guides, or maybe a first guide, or maybe you're listening to me, so no need to go through it. But if you still want to go through it, it will give you simple examples and simple thing to learn. And just looking at diagram, it's easier to understand. Okay.
What I was asking you earlier, I didn't actually articulate it properly. When they ask the questions, do they disguise the questions, or is it straightforward questions?
It will be a straightforward question only, or even if it is a twisted question, make sure that before you, at least 75% of the people were able to answer it. So we can
How
never
would I
say
know that?
it's a guarantee that at least before you, 75 people percent of the people were able to answer that question correctly. That's why
Okay.
that particular question is included in your exam, because they always test that question by putting into those 25 questions. So most of the questions, if you have read the entire PM book 6 one time, 100% you will be able to answer it.
Okay.
Okay. So what is a definition of a project management? It's not just about managing people. No, it's what the PM book 6 says, that it is a combination of science and arts. It's a combination of science and arts that makes a project management, that follow systematic process. You have to follow the process groups. You need to know the knowledge areas. There are 10 knowledge areas, and you have to understand the project management framework. So all these things, the processes, as I said, there are 5 processes, there are 49 process groups, there are 10 knowledge areas, and there is a project management framework. All these 5 processes, process group, knowledge areas, and project framework will be studying as we go ahead.
Okay.
Uh, so what is a project management? Project management is a combination of knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques. It's a combination of knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques that, when implemented in project activity, to meet a particular requirement. That requirement can be a construction of an house, whatever can be a requirement, building of a website. So that is my requirement. So while catering to this requirement, I will use my knowledge, I will use my skills, whatever skills I have. I'll use my tools and techniques. It can be anything. Tools and techniques can be simply cement or whatever tools and techniques I'm using. And then I'm using it in a project activity. This is an activity that I'm doing. And what I'm finally achieving is my requirement. I'm meeting my requirement. My requirement was to build a home. So this is a definition of a project management.
Okay, perfect. Harish, just another question. Along with the video, your audio is also being recorded, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, carry on.
So what is the advantage? What do you achieve by completing a project? First thing that you achieve is a better control by following the project management. You achieve a better control over the project. You can improve the customer relationship. You can reduce the development time if you follow the project management properly. You can also reduce the cost. You can increase the profit. You can increase the productivity. You can increase the coordination between different teams. You can increase the quality of the product being made. You can increase the reliability. So these are the different things. These are the different things that you achieve by a proper project management.
I see a lot of this is because I recently did my Scrum study. A lot of this is referring back to that. I see a change in the project management happening to follow more these methodologies instead of the old traditional methodology where a lot of planning is needed up front. Is this a correct assumption?
Right. By the way, you did your Scrum. What is your credential? Is it a CSM, Certified Scrum Master, or it's a Scrum
Uh,
Master Certified? From which organization you did your Scrum?
VM education.
Oh,
I'll tell you now. Documents, business
is
certificates.
it PM Edu?
VM.
VM Edu. Okay.
VM
Uh,
edu.
so if I am not mistaken, then it should be a Scrum Master Certified.
Scrum Fundamental Certified. SFC.
Oh, VMID Scrum Fundamental Certified. Okay, yeah. So yes, in
Amazing.
fact, to be more clear, in fact, the whatever is in the they refer to something called as a S book, Scrum Book
That's
of
right.
Knowledge. So it's
Scrum
basically
body of knowledge.
yeah. So this particular book is exactly they have copied from Pmbok. So, like you must have seen their ITTOs. So, ITTOs is a particular thing that was part of a PM book, and these guys have
Yes.
already copied. So, since you have already gone through that S book, it is possible that most of the things will look repeat for you because S book is mostly copied from PM book. They have taken a
Yeah,
reference from it
this
and
is just,
modified. Yeah,
I know, and in a section, I think they are referring to trends and possible stuff that will happen in the future, but it's not necessarily a requirement now.
right,
But I'm seeing a lot of the trend is going towards agile and scrum
right.
to apply those principles. And I'm seeing a lot less emphasis on the traditional project management.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
But in the industries like construction, you will still follow PMP, traditional project
Yes,
management.
in construction, I mean, that's not unfortunately, but that's how it is. One section has to fill. You can't go and put pillars up if your foundation isn't ready
Right,
yet.
right,
So there are certain processes that have to be followed.
right. So, Definition of a project that we already saw. It's temporary, definite start
And
time
it's
and end
unique.
time, and it should produce a unique product, result, or a service. We also saw what is a project management. It is a combination of knowledge and skill into a project activity to meet the requirement. Now, let's say you are a project manager. What is your responsibility as a project manager? Your responsibility is to lead the team, and you are also responsible for the project objective. So it's your responsibility that the objective of a project is met. So your responsibility, first thing is you need to be a team leader, and the second thing is you are responsible for the project objective. You are completely responsible for the success of the project.
Correct.
Okay. Now, after project, there is something called as a program. So when I talk about program, let's say there are different projects that are going on. There are different projects that are going on. Let's say you're constructing, you are into a construction business. You're constructing different projects. You are constructing different bridges. So this is my project one. This is my project two. Constructing of bridge two. Project three. Constructing of bridge three. Project four. Constructing of bridge four. So what you find over here is similarly, you can also have a construction. You can also have creation of um, your making airports. So you're constructing airport one. You're constructing airport two. So this is again your project five. Your project six. So what you notice over here is if you group all the similar projects, together, you can get some advantages, right? If you're grouping all the projects like construction of airport, construction of bridges, the requirement for construction of the bridges will be very much similar. The requirement for construction of airport will be very much similar. So what they say is, if you are having a similar project, what you can do is you can group the similar project together. So what is the definition of a program? Program is a group of it is a group of relative projects. Let me correct it. So what they do is it brings all the similar project together, like construction of bridge together, and make it your program. Similarly, construction of all the airport will come together and it will become one program. Similarly, a construction of a malls will come together to become a program, so that you can order the similar things together, you can purchase in bulk, you can reduce the cost, you can increase the coordination whenever the expertise of a foundation design expertise is needed, you can move him between the different projects and so on. So what they say is you can group the similar project together in a program for better management of a project, make it independent, reduce the risk, increase the scale. So you can do it on a big scale, you can do work on a big scale, you can reduce the risk, whatever are the independent task. So if it is an independent task like designing, so once the designing is done over here, you can move that guy over here instead of him sitting alone.
So,
Yeah,
so question on that is, if you're talking about a program manager, wouldn't he then be the person on top or at the on a higher hierarchy level in terms of controlling the amount of programs that are implemented? Because they don't necessarily get involved in project management.
right.
They have to oversee the completion of each project.
Right. So yes, definitely they will be at a higher level as compared to the project manager.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. So this is like how the programs are formed, as I was saying a while back. So this is my program. This is having only a single project. So this is my first project or a first program. Then this is construction of a residential. Then it can also have a sub program. That is bridges can be defined as the construction of bridges on top of sea, top of river, and flyover. And there are other works. So you can also sub program. So let's say bridge is your program, and you can just break it into let's say sea bridge, river bridge, and flyover, and so on. So you can also have something called as a sub program if it is required. Okay. So what are the characteristics of a program? The characteristic of a program is it should be having uh, relative projects. It should have a related projects together. It should have a common or related outputs. It should be aligned to a project direction and should improve the coordination. It should reduce the risk, increase the benefit and control. So these are the characteristics of program. Then going to project management. We already saw this. Project management is combination of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques combined in a project activity to meet the requirement. Now, this project manager will do nothing but it will lead and give the direction to all the projects. And the
So you
basic,
said project manager.
it's a program manager. So this program
Okay.
manager, what it will do is it will do a lead and provide the direction. So what it will focus on increasing the benefits and reducing the risk. So
Reducing the risk.
yeah. So this is about program management. So definition is the same for project management and a program management, combining knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques to meet again the requirement.
Okay.
Okay. So on top of program, there comes a portfolio. So this is my program one. This is my program two. This is my project that doesn't fall in any of the programs, separate project. And this is my operation. So all these are combining to form a portfolio. This can be a program that is car manufacturing. This can be a program on improving, uh, well, not readable to me, improving some process or improving Mercedes E-Class feature. Yeah. So it is improving Mercedes E-Class features. Uh, there is a one more project that is develop a Mercedes Z class, and there is a operation. There is a Mercedes A class that is already everything is done. Now it is the operation wherein you make more and more Mercedes A class. So there are in this way it is defined. So operation is something that is a continuous process that doesn't have a start or end time. It purely depends on market demand till when you want to complete carry on the operation. So basically, when we say about portfolio, it consists of different programs, different projects, and different operations together. It so why do we do a portfolio? Why do we make a portfolio? It is a strat to make a strategic business goal, to increase the benefit to organization, to reduce the risk, and for a proper resource management. Okay, then what is a definition of portfolio? So definition of portfolio, what it says is portfolio is the collection of project, program, sub portfolio, operation. Okay. Portfolio is the collection of project, program, sub portfolio, operation managed in a group to achieve a strategic objective. So it's a collection of project, program, sub portfolio, operation that is managed in a group, managed as a part of a group to achieve a strategic objective. So it's a definition as per PM book. Okay. So over here, what we'll do is we'll just try to understand what is a operation, what is a project, what is what. So this is just a way to understand it. So let's say we are working on a construction. In a construction of a port, contracting, finance, legal, all these things are part of a operation because it is going to continue finance, legal, or contracting. Then you are having a housing sub portfolio. Now, this housing sub portfolio is divided into two parts now. One is luxury housing, and one is making of international cities. Again, international city program. This was my program 1 and program 2. This program is again divided into sub program. That is, I want to make an international city, like I want to make a housing project in whatever part of universe I want to construct. I'm constructing in Singapore, but that housing project should look like Europe, or sub it should look like a Canada. So these are my sub programs, and it is having a projects, that is, I'm making a building number 1, building number 2, and so on. Similarly, I also want a transport. So this there is another sub portfolio, that is a transport, and I am having a road program and railway program. I also need a stadium. So this is my program now. So it is having a project 1, that is making a cricket stadium and a football stadium. And I want to develop a finance system. So it is a project. I want to make some system that should manage my finance. So this system should be ready by a definite time. So it is a project. So it's basically categorizing different things.
Question for you quickly.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you said construction port. Is it a construction port or a construction portfolio?
Portfolio. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. So, characteristic of a portfolio. How is a portfolio? What are the characteristics? So it's driven by return on investment. It's a strategic objective. It is controlled centrally. It includes operations as well, and it is not necessarily directly related. So it can have non-directly related things also as a part of a portfolio. More importantly, it also includes operation. So make sure that when you are preparing your form, you show it as a project. You should not show something as an operation, because let's say managing a airport is an operation, but making
Correct. Not
developing
a
an airport is a
project.
project. Yeah. So make sure that when you're showing the experience, it should not look like an operation. It should make something unique, and
Okay.
it should have a start and end time. So organizational project management, OPM. So what PMI PMP says, that we always need to assume you have a organizational project management, OPM, in place. But in most of the organization, you don't have a separate body for OPM. So OPM doesn't exist.
Correct.
So but you need to still assume you already have a OPM there. So what does OPM does? OPM does nothing but it just acts as a guide. It is just acting as a guide. It is a guide for a project,
Correct.
program, portfolio, and they will just give you the direction. It will just guide you. And the guide is provided on the basis of a strategy. But however, some organization may not have OPM in place, but you have to assume it is present in each and organization. And its work is to prioritize, manage, execute, and measure the success. So this is the work of OPM, but may not be there in your organization, but you have to assume it is present when you're giving any questions, any answers to any questions. So what does OPM focus on? OPM focus on consistency and predictable deliverables, produce a better result, sustainability, and a better performance. So let's go ahead. PMO. Project PMO stands for Project Management Office. So what this particular project management office does is the definition of PMO as per the Pmbok is it is a management structure that standardize the project governance by facilitating the sharing of resources between different projects by methodology and by providing tools and techniques to them, and in turn they will be reporting to stakeholders and they will be a key decision maker. So it's the PMO that can, if the PMO is having a clash with the project manager, then it is very much possible that there will be a lot of problems in PMO in the project, because it's the PMO who is at the end of day going to allocate the funds and all the resources that are required for a project.
Okay. Now, who oversees the activities in a PMO?
The PMO will again come under, depending on different organization, they will be reporting directly to the stakeholders. So the stakeholder can be the customer who has given the requirement to them, or it can be for an IT industry, it can be a user who is going to use that particular software. So they will be directly reporting to the stakeholder. So their primary task will be to keep stakeholder happy.
Okay, so stakeholder is not necessarily a customer, because a customer can work in conjunction with a stakeholder. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. So what does a PMO does? PMO gives the strategy, policies, gives the training, resources, and helps with the standard processes. There are three types of PMOs. PMO can be a supporting PMO, it can be a controlling PMO, or it can be a directive program PMO. A supporting PMO will just give you a consultation, supply with templates, best practices, and what are the lessons learned, and will have a low control over the project. Controlling PMO will require you, make you to follow the compliance, will also train others, assist with tools, and will have moderate control over the project. And the directive PMO, depending on your organization, will provide project manager with for the projects. He will only decide who will be the PM, who will be the project manager. He will take all the control of the project. He will manage everything directly, and he will be responsible for the result of a project. That is a high control. So most of the places where I see PMOs in place, it's from my experience, I have seen a high control PMO.
Yeah, true. Me too.
Yeah. Okay, so what are the primary functions of PMO? Provide methodology, practice, and standards, doing the audit work, providing the training, project documentation management, coordination between different projects, and manage the shared resources. Then going ahead, what is the difference between a project manager and a PMO? Project manager will be focusing on the projects and objectives, whereas PMO will manage the program scope change. Project manager will control the resource on a project and manage the constraint at individual project level. PMO will optimize the shared resources. So if you want to move some particular resource from one place to another, it's done by PMO. And PMO will moreover manage the methodologies, shared risk, and interdependencies between the different projects. Then let's try to understand what is a project and what is the operation. Let me remove this if possible if you have not seen. Okay, so call center is a project or operation.
Call center would be an operation, I think.
Okay, great. So it's the same thing. No at start and end time. Same thing doing again and again. Mars mission
That'll be a project.
project because you have to achieve. You are achieving something unique within a specific time. Bridge construction again a project. Filling of a gas
That's right. No, that's just an operation.
operation because you need to continue. Bank reception
Operation,
operation. Making a new software
project.
project because you are achieving something new and you are having some start and end time. Okay. So, what is the dependency between what is the relation between project and operation? Once the project is complete, let's say you are building a software and software is ready, this operation will start because people will use start using operation, start using that particular software. Or let's say you are making some iPhone X one, 2, 3, whatever, and once it is ready, deliverable is done, then you will be passing the knowledge to the user how to use it. And what the operation will do is operation will make thousands of or millions of iPhone X. So your project was to make the first iPhone X, make bring all the knowledge things together, pass it to the users who are going to make do the operation. Just make this iPhone copies. So this is the difference or where the project and operations meet. So what is the operation management? So operation management is an area of management that is concerned with overseeing, designing and controlling the production process. Plus they can also be looking into redesigning or business operations. So whatever operations they are performing. Basically it is a continuous process that will go on once the project is over. For example, creation of iPhone. Then operation management, it is outside of our scope. We are not concerned about it. Uh, then it is concerned with ongoing of goods and services. It ensures the business continuity and the input concerned with the management practices can be resulting in output. What do I mean by over here is let's say the operation is going on, you are preparing many and many iPhone 5 or iPhone 6. Then what you notice at the during the manufacturing part is uh, because of this particular design like this, it is taking more time to produce. If we curve the design, it will the production time will reduce. So what they can do is they can pass a feedback to the next level, that is just a feedback from this operation that oh we can curve this phone. So maybe when the iPhone 6 comes, it is a little curvy over here. Or maybe they can pass the feedback that if you give a curve, the phone can look slim. So there can be input from a operation can go as a output to the project. Similarly, input from a project can go as a output to the operation. So they can
Now, would this be part of a input towards a Six Sigma project? Because as I understand it, a Six Sigma would also have an influence on the PMI or any project that you're doing, correct?
yes, Six Sigma will always have an impact to it. Again, Six Sigma, I will consider it as a relatively different way. Reason being, Six Sigma is not the way how the most of the industries like software industries work on. Maybe software industry
Correct.
will work on maybe on Five Sigma or Four Sigma. That's it. Five Sigma. That's it. But at the same time, the aviation industry will work on Six Sigma, because you cannot have a scope of error in aviation, because it you are risking the life of people. Yeah, but
Yes.
it can also contribute to improving of your sigma or the error margin.
Okay. Am I right in then assuming that Sigma or Six Sigma is more relating to manufacturing than what it is towards IT and even construction for that matter?
Right, right, right. Yes, it's more related to where you where the risk is more. Like, I will say, as compared to manufacturing, I will say, in fact, the things like involves the life of people, like aviation or transport, or for that case it can
Okay.
be creation of hospital operation things, machinery.
Okay, makes sense.
Then organizational governance. Organizational governance is system of sharing the rules, best practices, and the processes, and they will be directing and controlling the company so that they are able to manage the interest of shareholder, management, customer, supplies, suppliers, finance, government, and other community. So these are again a different set of team, or that may or may not be present, and they are called as a organizational governance team. And this is the task that they do.
Just a quick question, Harish. How are
Yeah.
you looking on time?
Sorry, can you come again?
I said, how are you looking on time?
In what sense?
You said that you had only an hour
Okay,
or
okay.
so to spare for the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
session.
Okay, because
So, are you still
yeah,
comfortable?
yes, yes, yes. Actually, there are six more slides, so it's towards the end
No,
of the
I don't
first
mind.
chapter.
I don't mind. I just don't want you to rush through
No,
anything, and
no,
then
no.
if you have time that you want us to continue it on another
Sure,
time, that's fine. Like
sure,
tomorrow,
sure.
for example. But it's up to you. You tell me.
Yeah, sure, sure. We just are left with the six slides, and we are towards the end of it. And whatever we are covering now is not much meaningful towards the
Okay.
exam, and we are going more on the organization part and operation parts. So yeah,
So,
organizational
what you're
strategy.
focusing on?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm interrupting you because
yeah.
of the delay. Um, so, what you're focusing on these lectures, will you be focusing more on what the exam will be covering, or is it more on the concepts type of thing? So, if possible,
Mhm.
when we conduct future sessions, separate to or segregate to me like this would be more focused on the exam, and this is more for understanding purposes, like you just did.
Right, 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 right. And also we'll be having
Perfect.
some sample questions as we go ahead. So yeah, when we are
Okay.
coming towards end, when we are talking about organization, operations, and organizational strategy, it is going just an introduction about organization, and not much relevant with the questions that will be appearing more in the exams. Yeah.
Okay.
Going to the organizational strategy, which provides guidance and the direction to a project. So it's what they do is they will add the business value, and it is a summation of tangible and intangible elements. When we say a tangible elements, it can be something related to what you can see. It can be your monetary assets, it can be your fixtures, it can be your utility. But when we see intangible element, it is something you cannot see, but it is important for your business. That is your goodwill, your brand recognition, and public benefit. It can be a trademark. So business value can be, when the organizational strategy brings a business value, it can be a summation of these two things. One is a tangible that you can directly see, and one is a intangible that you cannot see, but it is required for your business continuity. Nowadays, a place where we see companies find it difficult to survive even 3 years. So this is the things that They fail at intangible elements like goodwill, brand recognition, and so on. Okay, so what is the role of a project manager? Uh, Moreover, let's talk about in terms of management skills, and let's talk about in terms of interpersonal skill, what they need to know. So, as part of a management skill, they should be good at planning the work, meeting management, time management. They should be good at organizing the things. They should be good at controlling the things. If something is going wrong, they should be able to control it then and there itself. And in terms of interpersonal skill, they should be good at leadership, communication. They should be able to influence. It can be influencing a stakeholder, or it can be influencing a resources and so on. They should be able to motivate. They should be able to negotiate, and they should be able to build the trust between the team. So these are the roles of a project manager. A good project manager should know who a project manager will report to. A project manager, depending on what kind of organization you are working, it may report to a functional manager or a program manager or a portfolio manager. That we'll see later on how he reports. But a project manager can report to either a functional manager or a program manager or a portfolio manager, depending on which kind of matrix they are working on. That we'll see in the later class. So you can report to either one of them: functional manager, program manager, or a portfolio manager. And project manager will work very closely with the business, will work with system analyst, a quality analyst, a subject matter expert, vendor, or a project staff, or a PMO. So these are the people with whom a project manager will closely work with. Okay, so project manager will look into
Sorry,
the
let me
project
just
work.
close the window here because the call to prayer has just come in. Okay, sorry, carry on.
No issues. Okay, so project manager uh, will work on a project. Program manager will work towards the success of the program. That is a program management. Portfolio will work for a portfolio management. A functional manager will look into the administrative work, and the operation manager will look into the production of an iPhone or whatever, or look into a operational work. Okay, so these is your old school days. Project manager should look after time, cost, and scope. This is your old school days. Now,
Mm-hmm.
instead of a triangle, you have one more triangle. So you have to look into budget, quality, schedule, resource, scope, and risk. So this is your old school time, cost, and scope versus BQS RSC. So this is how the project management has changed from when it started with Pmbok 1, and now as it reached Pmbok 4, now in 7, Pmbok 6. So this is how it is changing continuously. So every 4 years they will be coming up with the new Pmbok, make some changes. However, this time the changes were not much. Only the new thing was introduced was agile and just moving few project groups from here to there and so on. So what are
Tell
the
me,
yeah.
sorry, when you retake or renew your qualification, is there again an exam that you need to take after submitting your PDUs?
No, no exam. Only need to submit PDU. That's it. So like I
Okay,
did my PMP, then I did my Scrum, so I got few PDUs. Then I did my Six Sigma, then I got some PDUs, and so on.
okay, cool.
So even if I did my Prince, I also got some PDUs. So what are the authorities of a project manager? It should control the project, look at the spending of a budget, look at the project execution decision. He should empower the resources, and what are the competencies he should know. He should have a knowledge about it. He should have a personal skills like leading the team, communication, and should be able to perform. What are the interpersonal skills that he should know? Leadership, team building, motivation, decision making, communication. Should be able to influence, should be able to negotiate, make the trust between the team, should be able to coach the team, should be able to manage the conflict between the team. So these are the interpersonal skills that are required for a good project manager. So that's it, what we were looking to cover today. Do you have any questions?
I had a few questions, but I think we answered all of them.
Okay.
Are we going to continue tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow we can catch up at same time and maybe for few hours,
Okay,
3 or 4 hours. Let's try to complete 1 or 2 chapter. Maybe what I will suggest is,
yes.
as you have completed this book, this chapter, so you can just start going through first chapter. Maybe when we cover in terms of slides, we look into higher way. But when you look into a book, it will go into more deep, or but this will definitely help you in understanding the things. So maybe as we complete, you can what you can do is you can read through the PM book first chapter, then you can start giving the questions. So it's like if you are able to complete in a sequential way, it will be more easier for you. So maybe 1 or 2 chapters daily we can complete Saturday, Sunday, and you can just complete those chapters as well at your end. So that's
Okay, no, that's fine. I asked Shoaib earlier on
Mhm.
for a copy of the PM a guide to Pmbok 6.
Okay.
But they said that I'm only getting once I register with the PMI Institute.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't aware of that, so to
Okay.
get that book may take me some time.
Never mind. I will share you. I will share with him so he can share with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
I
that.
will have my copy of book. So maybe you should not be distributing it because
No, no,
people
no, no, no. I
who
understand.
represent, yeah. So yeah, I will
No,
share
no, I
with you my
understand.
copy.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you
So
very much, sir.
okay,
Appreciate that and appreciate your time.
okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow
What
same time.
time? What time do you want? Same time
Same
tomorrow.
time. Yeah.
Which is what time? What time did we start today?
I think so. We're supposed to start at 2 in the Singapore time. I'm not sure what is the UAE time.
Okay, 2 in the Singapore time. You are GMT plus how much?
Sorry, can you come again?
Your international time schedule. It's
GMT
GMT
plus 8. Plus 8.
plus 8,
Yeah.
and I'm plus 4.
Plus 4.
So it's a 4-hour difference.
So it's
Okay, that's
10
fine.
a.m. for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. At 2 o'clock, that means 10 o'clock my time.
Yeah, sure.
It should be all right.
Okay, so we'll catch tomorrow for maybe around 1-2 hours or whatever till the time we continue. You are also able to understand, and I am also not tired
Perfect.
speaking because I also have another class in the morning wherein I teach uh, big data. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good
So
stuff.
yeah, catch you tomorrow.
Okay, Arish.
Yeah.
Catch you tomorrow. Will you be sending that information through to Shoaib?
This video recording, I'm not sure how I will be able to share. Maybe I just upload in YouTube and I share with you the private link.
You can do that, or do you have an FTP site that I can access?
No, I won't be having that. Let me see. I will
Maybe
just
a
put on a
one.
YouTube and maybe I will mark it as a private and maybe you can listen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
I'll wait for your information. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.